It's Friday, October the 20th, and this is your Barbados Today evening news update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. An outpouring of emotion at the Ellerton Wesleyan Holiness Church as 13-year-old Hananiah Reeves was laid to rest today. The Princess Margaret student who died in a road accident just a stone's throw from his home at Champagne Castle, St. George, was described as an irreplaceable son, brother, and friend. Delivering the eulogy before the packed church, his sister Rosanna Reeves told a story of a remarkable young life.
Hansi was always contented with whatever he had, whether it be a little or a lot. He never complained about any single thing. His manly ways were as high as ever. Always answering yes please, no please, and always the one to volunteer to do stuff.
Hananiah's class teacher Cheryl Linton told the hushed congregation that the young lad was a model second form student.
Even though small in stature, Hananiah was one of the most courageous boys in the class. He spoke the truth, and I could rely on his account of the situation. Last term, he was the only person who freely gave an account of the situation he had witnessed, when others were either unwilling or constrained. That day, Hananiah became a giant in my life.
Keep upcoming general elections clean. Outgoing Roman Catholic Bishop of Barbados, Jason Gordon, sounded the caution this evening as he met with journalists ahead of his departure to Port of Spain, Trinidad. He expressed concern that the 2013 general election was marred by allegations of vote buying in some constituencies. He warns that the island is heading down a dangerous path if it is allowed to continue. Bishop Gordon urged authorities to introduce a code of conduct for the poll due by the middle of next year.
I think Barbados would do well to have a code of ethics for this election. And the reason for that is that at the end of the last election, there were several reports in the newspaper of buying votes, of influencing people through commodities given, money given, things like that. Once the instrument of democracy is bought and sold, and that's my vote, we corrupt the whole of democracy. And the precious nature of democracy requires that this becomes something that people think about and choose wisely how I'm going to exercise my democratic right. And I would say that, you know, the reports out of the last election, and nobody was ever brought before a court, so we don't know whether these reports were spurious or true, but they were widespread, and they were never denied in the media. That this is a road. If you go down this road, we reach to the place where we give away our democracy, and then what we have is an oligarchy, a group of very rich people who will run this country. And then it doesn't matter who is in government, the policies will be set not by the citizens' desires, but by those who have vested interests. And I think that that's a danger.
The bishop said Barbadians must also fiercely guard its democracy and take a stand against any wrongdoing.
If you see something that is wrong, again we come back to values, you see something that is wrong, report it. There are strong laws in the Representation of the People's Act that are already there that govern what happens if somebody going up for office does something wrong. We don't need new laws for this. But what we need is new citizens. Citizens who take their democracy seriously and are willing to commit to a new kind of politics in Barbados, and we're willing to make sure and champion integrity for democracy in this country.
Bishop Gordon will be appointed as the Archbishop of Port of Spain by year end. He will be responsible for 5 dioceses: Trinidad, Barbados, Guyana, Curacao, and Suriname. In other news now, industrial action is looming in the education sector. President of the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union, Mary Redmond, is putting the Ronald Jones-led Ministry of Education on notice that industrial action resulting from the St. Leonard's School impasse is very likely to expand to include the St. Michael's School. The union is currently engaged in a dispute with both school boards over the dismissal of 2 of their members. The St. Michael's School matter dates back more than a year, while the St. Leonard's issue has been going on for the last 3 months. Addressing colleagues at a special session on Teachers' Professional Day, Redmond revealed that the National Union of Public Workers, NUPW, which also represents the sacked clerk typists at the center of the dispute with the St. Leonard's School Board, has been given the green light by their council to support the BSTU in impending industrial action.
Sufficient to say that the NUP Council met yesterday because the member there is both a member of the BSTU and the NUPW, and we are both representing her in this matter. The NUP Council met yesterday and agreed to take whatever action is necessary in supporting this member along with the BSTU. So the minister will have to deal with us in one way or another. In relation to the St. Michael's School, we are still awaiting the decision of the PS and the Ministry of Civil Service. I told them on Wednesday that we were meeting today and therefore we were going to make some decisions today in relation to that. They promised to get back in contact with me by Wednesday evening. I told them that I would have been out of the island their working hours yesterday, but they could call me after the fact. And I have received no calls up until I left. I forgot my phone at home this morning in my hurried leave. So up until now, no calls. But the action we take may have to be combined action on both issues.
A Barbados Water Authority employee was today granted bail on 2 drug-related charges after being arrested by police this morning. 36-year-old Dwayne Anderson Gibson of Harlington St. Philip is accused of unlawful possession of cannabis and unlawful possession of an apparatus. Around 7:20 this morning, members of the Suppressing Criminal Activity Targeted Society Unit, acting on a tip-off, went to the Pine Commercial Estate near the BWA headquarters, where they found Gibson and other BWA employees. Lawmen searched Gibson's car and found cannabis and apparatus. When Gibson appeared before Magistrate Douglas Frederick in the District A Magistrates Court, he pleaded guilty to the offense of unlawful possession of apparatus and was fined $350 to be paid in 1 week or 1 month in prison. He pleaded not guilty to the unlawful possession of cannabis and was granted $2,500 bail with 1 surety. He is set to reappear in court on March 18th next year.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, touching one community at a time.
To the region now, torrential rains have wreaked havoc in central Trinidad. In fact, some residents say it's the worst flooding they've seen in 20 years. Many businesses and families were in cleanup mode, even as weather officials warn the rains will continue.
As day broke, the true extent of the floods became evident. Families marooned, some in Bucaro trying to salvage what's left of their belongings.
The Lal family, they have lost every item in this house, from fridge to mattress to stove to appliances, every possible thing.
Scenes like this show just how swollen watercourses became last night into this morning. Businesses nearby forced to close up shop today to clean up.
So you're selling poultry there?
Nah, tomorrow we had to clean up.
Okay, so you keep back all the business?
Yeah.
Surendra Lalu and his wife spent most of the morning cleaning up their roti shop, hoping they can open tomorrow.
Well, here was like a disaster. Here there was just like a, how to say, like a lake. The amount of water it had here.
The fridge was floating, we had to move it. The side there, the kitchen was flooded. This morning we had to sweep out all the water and all the front and thing. It was really in a terrible condition.
Nearby, the owners of a puja store tried to clear items that were destroyed in the deluge. Avinash Singh says the waters rose quickly.
Most of our stuff are in the freezers and fridges, We have cases where our freezer flipped over, fridges just floating away, and we have about 3 freezers and all of them nearly flipped. We actually had to lasso one of them to hold it up because of the goods that was inside of it to save it.
Across Chase Village today, families and businesses were left counting their losses in what they say was the worst flooding in 2 decades. Chaguanas Mayor Gopal Budan says emergency teams are out assisting those affected and preparing for additional flood.
Further afield now, some 60 people have been killed in 2 separate attacks on mosques in Afghanistan. A gunman entered a Shia Muslim mosque in Kabul before opening fire and detonating an explosive, killing at least 39 worshippers. An attack on a Sunni Muslim mosque in Gore province killed 20 people. The new attacks bring at least 176 the number of people killed in bomb attacks across the country this week. And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Now you can also subscribe to our e-paper email updates and like us on Facebook. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic weekend.